I'm Kerry Ellis, and we are in the Vaudeville Theatre on the Strand, and we are rehearsing for the West End Men show, which opens tomorrow night, which is Saturday the 25th.
And I'm Nick Hutson. We're here with Kerry Ellis. Hello, Kerry. Thank you for coming on Musical Talk.
Thank you for having me. It's very exciting.
Obviously, the first question is West End Men.
Well, I am a very special guest, so I don't mind, and it's going great. They're a great group of guys. We did a slightly different version of the show. I think it was last year. We did a couple of shows as a tryout out of town, and it went great. It was received really well. I think the boys work really well together, and having a female as a guest kind of just brings a bit of light and shade, and I think it works really well as a show.
Because a lot of the greatest musical theatre songs are duets and things between male and female, so it's nice probably to have that divide as in the timbre of the voices and things.
Absolutely, and the boys are very different as well. They've got really different styles, which is great to work with for me. And yeah, I sing a duet with Lee, and we all sing together, and it's just lovely.
Well, let's say who the boys are to start with.
Okay, well the boys are Lee Mead, who is doing the entire run, Matt Willis and David Thaxton, and double cast. We've got Stephen Raman Hughes, who I think is doing the second 2 weeks, and we've got Glenn Carter, who's doing the first 2 weeks.
You sort of shot to fame in England with Wicked, and then you did Oliver, and various concerts in between, and now you're back doing concerts. And you're sort of one of the rare performers who's not breaking up, but kind of breaking into different mediums in a way. Did you want to do that, or is this something that is just sort of doors have opened for you and you'll happily prance through them?
I think it's a bit of both. I've always been working on my music. I met Brian 11 years ago, and we started working on albums and music, so it's always been a parallel. I have done a lot of shows in the last 11 years. Oh, that's our crew. But it's been a parallel, and it just seems that now I've been able to step out and embrace that a bit more, and people are more accepting of that. I did my own show at the Palladium last Sunday, and it was it was a little bit nerve-wracking, because it was suddenly just me with a big band being me and telling my
on that stage where you know that every single
iconic stage, Liza Minnelli's performed there, and it was quite terrifying, but I did feel like I was ready for that. I felt like I had enough to talk about, enough to sing, and enough material, and I felt like I had interesting stories and stuff, so it was great.
Well, you certainly have a very, very devoted fan base.
I do. It's great. I'm always overwhelmed by it, and I never take it for granted. That these people spend their money and come and see me. And I was just on a tour of Rent, and some of them came to every show. I find it comforting, because it's like you start to know their faces and their names, and it's like having. It's always quite scary when you open a show, or when you do a show for the first time, and to know that you've got people there that are on your side and that aren't going to judge you is lovely, and a real support. So I embrace it, and I'm very grateful to them.
So tell us more about some future album works that you might have planned.
Well, I'm very excited about it. We've got a live album coming out, Brian and I, in June. It's basically, we recorded the entire tour that we did in November, the Born Free tour, and we've basically put together the best bits of it and put it on an album, and I'm so proud of it. We were in the mastering suite, I think at the beginning of the week, making the vinyl, and I was watching it being cut, and it's just, I feel very blessed to be allowed to be in all that whole process, and I'm really, really proud of this album. I think it's completely different to Anthems, but it's very special, and I can't wait for people to hear it.
It's interesting how, with Dress Circle's sad closure and things, how in a way it's become a lot easier for people to do albums, because the ease of people to order, they're sort of not physical products anymore. They're just things that you can buy online. Do you think, especially for young performers and writers, do you think that the album's becoming a lot easier?
I don't know if the album's coming easier. I think people can make music slightly easier because of the materials that we have at home. You can record yourself on your laptop. So I think it's more accessible for people, and for also the whole YouTube thing. Everyone can put anything on YouTube, but for me, I think it's really special to actually still have an album, and it's something that is tangible and you can hold, and you can read the lyrics still, or you can read the information, and
someone can sign it.
Yeah, and it's important. I think it's all part of it. I think it's special. We did something for Record Store Day a few months ago, and to try and save the record store, because again, vinyl, there's something so special about vinyl, and I hope that it doesn't go away completely and we become digital, because it would be such a shame.
DJs still use vinyl. I'm not a clubber, but I presume in the loud, dark places that people go to in the evening that aren't theatres, they use vinyl still.
They do, and I think it's because of the sound.
It's a thicker sound, isn't it?
It's a different sound, and you get so much more atmosphere. I actually got my first record player for my birthday just gone, and I cannot wait to get this album that's come in and play it, because there's just something really special about sitting and listening to an album. Even if you do it on CD, at least you're putting it on and you're making time to listen. So
you have to look for it, and yeah.
It's not just so accessible. We're very as a nation, everything's very accessible to us, so we can kind of just get what we want when we want. And I think sometimes just stepping back and taking the time to do something is good.
I used to love going to MVC, if you remember them, when I was little, with my pocket money and buying the best 60s album in the world ever, 9 or something.
I don't remember NVC, but I remember Our Price.
It was Our Price, HMV, MVC, Woolworths.
Woolworths, yeah. What happened to Woolworths?
Yeah. So tell us more about this show. What kind of songs can we look forward to?
Well, it's a real mixture. The boys sing some female songs as well, which is really nice. Our fantastic MD, Will Stewart, has done some great arrangements. He's fabulous. And it's a mixture, really. There's a few songs in there that people are known for, like I'm sure Lee will do his Close Every Door. And Stephen will do something from Bombay Dreams, and I'm sure I'll do something from Wicked. It's just there's a bit of that, but there's also new stuff as well.
It sounds like you're saying you're not quite sure what you're doing yet. I mean, is this process still, you're working on things, or you're coming up with ideas, or is it all in the bag?
No, it's very much set. It's just that because my section is kind of halfway through Act 2, so I haven't really seen much of the boys yet. I know what they're doing, but today is the first day that we've all been together. They've been rehearsing by themselves, and I've been kind of going through my music and stuff. So this is our first day together, so I know what they're doing, I just haven't seen them do it yet.
The marriage of the roles will come together.
Yeah, crazy.
And do you have any plans to go back and do book music, kind of, dare I say, real musical theatre?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. It's definitely in my psyche. I'm in a meeting about something for next year. We're talking about that, which is very exciting. For me, it's important to do the right thing now, because I've done a lot of shows and I've done some fantastic roles that I'm very grateful for. I feel I need to do something that's equally as prestigious or something that I can get my teeth into and really kind of I don't know, I just feel it needs to be the right move. And also there's not really so much around, it's difficult. These female power characters, there's not loads of them around, so you have to
you've done the most iconic one in the 21st century, so
and once you've done it, what do you do? So but no, there are some exciting things happening next year, so fingers crossed it all happens.
What do you think of British musical writing and new things happening at the moment?
I think it's really tough for new writers. A friend of mine that he MD'd my Palladium show, Craig Adams, is a new writer, and I've been around or experiencing, because through him, how difficult it is for him to get his music out there and shows out there, and it's tough for new writers, unless you have I don't like to say a name, but somebody with a bit of clout attached to what you're doing. It's quite difficult to get people to invest, because it's risky. This business is risky for people, and they kind of want a dead cert, and I think it's tough. But I think we should embrace it and help new writers out wherever we can, because they're the future, and we need that new influence of music.
Well, Kerry Ellis and many other leading men will be in West End Men here at the Vaudeville Theatre. We hope the weather clears up for you.
We do.
Well, you're happy indoors, at least.
Absolutely. I've got a lovely little room.
Please do go and check it out. And Kerry Ellis, thank you very much.
Thank
Hope
you.
to talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much.